Stanford even banning some of the left's favorite words, like trigger warning. They say it's too triggering. Use content note instead.
I think I'm triggered by how big the don't be dumb factor is in this.
Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, or maybe I just love the English language more than Stanford.
Stanford? Where is that? Hey, honey, isn't that out there in California, Stan?
Saying American is now banned. They want you to say U.S. citizen instead.
Citizen? Hey, back the truck up, Foolio. It's an honor and a privilege to be a U.S. citizen.
Why? Well, Stanford says calling people from the United States of America Americans is a problem because it insinuates that the U.S. is the most important country in the Americas.
During my time in active duty, I helped not one but two soldiers attain their American citizenship. I've seen the book that you have to study from in order to attain it. And to be quite honest with you, I'm really glad that today's generation, it isn't a requirement to pass that test to stay in this country.
Fox News alert, we are the most important country in the Americas.
I'd aim a little higher, Jesse. It's kind of weird how you hate a country you know so little about. Really, it's pathetic.
And preferred pronouns is out too. Now you just say pronouns.
Pronouns?
Because the word preferred suggests you're able to choose your gender identity. I know this is confusing, so let's move on.
Tell you what, my pronouns are freedom-loving, God-fearing, Constitution-loving, no-man-fearing dude who loves the sound of sizzling bacon wrapped around the barrel of my freshly spent 50 cal. America.
Karen is banned. Instead of calling someone a Karen, you should call them an entitled white woman. I think Karens would rather be called Karens.
Yeah, that probably ain't gonna happen. That one's been sewn too deeply into the dependa system. See definition of dependa.
What else can't you say? Addicted. Instead, use hooked or devoted. The hunter isn't just the smartest guy Joe knows, he's also the most devoted.
Oh, I see how this works. Now let me try using that one in a sentence. After over 2 decades of war, the American veteran community still suffers from a chemical genocide via the opioid crisis that its own government created because we're so dedicated to our meds. But I see what you did there. It's okay to die for your country if it's done that way. Plus it puts a nice little spin on it. Just kind of takes the edge right off.
There's one word that you should never say under any circumstance, ever. It's so bad, they don't even have a replacement for it. Brave. It culturally appropriates Native Americans because only Native Americans were brave. There's not a single other ethnic group on the planet ever that demonstrated bravery.
Look, I never had any qualms with anyone from any of the Indian nations, especially our foster daughter, who was actually a relative. But I can clearly see the elite minds of Stanford don't know the difference between a noun and an adjective. These poor kids think they're getting an education. We should have called it Scamford.
They don't want us to use chief anymore. They say calling a white person chief trivializes real Indian chiefs. And you can't call an actual Indian a chief. The only people who are allowed to use the word chief are Indians. And Randy Livingston, who is Stanford's chief financial officer.
Chief. Well, the only thing I can really tell you is if I don't get a chance to thank you for this one in person before we part ways from this life, I'm not too worried about it. Papa and Jesus will get you on the other side. You hear? So America, at the end of the day, if you really want to give your kids a higher education, give them the original higher education via the original wireless connection.
We're cleared hot at this time.
Smoke Vet 6. This is Smoke Jumper 7. Roger that. Next mission, time now.